What's up? Got the new Center Mass Bells from Sorinex and want to do a little comparison, maybe give some pros and cons. These are very, very interesting. I have been thinking about these ever since I first heard of them a couple years ago, and I can't even remember where. And I just kind of passed and like, oh, that'd be interesting. And that was, I've been a kettlebell strength guy and, kettlebell sport athlete since, 2011 is when I first competed. But, when I started swinging this kettlebell strength, I wanted to do a lot of different stuff. I was tired of only using barbells on that motion, so I got into this guy, and then got into competitive kettlebell, which is, different, same size, same diameter, different weights. So anyway, Sorinex and Rogue now have these guys out. You can look at a little bit up close. This is a 35 pounder. Got a couple 20s at the gym. Just got these a couple days ago. They are very cool to me, to say the least. The biggest thing that I notice is I don't see how in the world these don't just take over dumbbells. I talked to online. I was talking to Matt Vincent the other day. Thought the same thing, as per our YouTube conversation on bunch that he got, a couple weeks ago. Talked to Jason Brown, and he's a kettlebell guy, big time, and anyway, hurt his arm. Thought these were awesome. Told me that he really, really liked them. So got them, and let me go over some pros and cons. Me being a kettlebell guy, there are things that you can do with kettlebells that you can't do as well with this. There are some things you can do with these that you can't do very well with kettlebells. The thing is, I love these because it's a chance to learn a new movement. Very similar movements, but very, very, very different. To me, that's going to help round me out strength and stabilization wise. I absolutely love the fact that this is on the same plane of rotation. I can handle this right here with the kettlebell. It's great, but still the weight is on one side. So I love that too, but I'm used to this. So center your hand. You can see, I think you can go right through there. You can see where my hand's at. From the side, rotational, whatever. Oh, it makes a really good quad roller too. But anyway, so these guys are right now, it's like 20s, 35s, 70s, 50s. I hear they're making big ones. That's the thing. So if I take these, okay, let's go pros versus dumbbells. Dumbbells are wide, so you get 170, 100, 120 pounds. These things are freaking huge. These, here's 35, and I think there's a whole lot of space inside for your hand. I think they can pack that a little tighter. You don't need much movement, so these are definitely going to get as wide. There's no way these things are going to be this wide. So you're going to be able to have an increased range of motion when you do some of your dumbbell exercises. They seem indestructible, okay? Kettlebell, I've seen people break handles off. We've had a couple that have busted, certain not as good quality kettlebells. These are like Fedorenkos, and they're freaking awesome. Anyway, not as good quality kettlebells have snapped, have busted where the fill is. So there goes the kettlebell. I can't imagine what you would have to do to break this thing up besides possibly blow it up. If you're going to blow this thing up, you're probably going to really hurt yourself anyway. I can do a lot of stuff closer together instead of dumbbells out here. I can keep them in tighter like I can with kettlebells. A lot of wrist stability with this. A whole lot of wrist stability, which is great. Working on a lot of rotational stuff instead of just this. I've seen a lot of people lose dumbbells side to side when they don't have lateral stability in the wrist. See, the thing about kettlebell is how you hold it. It takes very little wrist. I'm loose, I'm tight, I'm loose, I'm tight. Not much change. This thing doesn't change. It's not going through my lower forearm. But then people with problems with wrist or radius or ulna, there's weight sitting here on a kettlebell. There's not weight sitting there. So some people that have tender arms, let's keep with the pros. You can throw, you can alternate, you can launch it, go out in the field. I've seen people tie straps to the inside and work on hammer throw type exercises. I mean, there's nothing in here. You could play in the damn mud with this and, you know, just spray it off. Whatever steel or iron they use, this stuff's crazy. I've dropped it a bunch. I don't see any, even dents. I haven't thrown it against the concrete, but, you know, on our horse stall mats down at the gym, I've slammed it just to see what would happen. Doesn't seem like anything would happen to it. Let's go to more pros. The learning curve. Yes, kettlebells take a lot for people to learn. I totally agree with that. I'm not saying I think kettlebells are great for a majority of people when properly coached. You know, it's true. It takes a lot of work and people get frustrated. Okay, so that's saying I can take this and go right into overhead snatches and stuff like that. Probably not the best thing for beginners anyway. Like I said, you're still going to need to be properly coached, or at least watch some damn good videos on some respectable trainers using these guys before you start, you know, doing snatches with it. It's common sense. I think it's common sense, but I think you're going to be a lot safer with a dumbbell. You got a better position between your legs when you go to swing, when you go for hip acceleration. So one thing, there's a whole lot of new motor patterns and, you know, motor control that you can learn by using these guys. I think I paid like $2 a pound. I mean, it's very, very similar. They're new. They're not gonna be cheap. They're also freaking awesome and indestructible. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. Stability stuff. You could do plank. I mean, we're gonna make a bunch of videos using them later. I'm gonna use them a lot for cardio conditioning, so I'm not overworking myself with the kettlebell and just focusing on, you know, grip. I can do a lot more stuff with this. So when you're doing Turkish get-ups, this is the tool. This is the tool that I'm going to go for, because when I'm locked out, let's try to show this. When I'm in a Turkish get-up and I'm locked out, notice where the weight is. I have to engage. You're going to have to engage in every exercise you're doing. But notice where the weight is here. It's going to rotate a little bit more. Now, check this out. This is what I absolutely love about this. It's right in the center. So let's go to the cons. Okay, one thing that has bothered me a little bit, you do have to get used to different, you will hit this spot. It's not sharp, it's pretty thick and it's angled, so you can see that. Anyway, you get inside view of that. So anyway, when I'm grabbing that, if I'm not locked to my wrist and I'm still letting it roll, I can hit, and man, I'm telling you, your wrist flexors, when that hits there, that's not a very, very good feeling. So be careful about that. Also, for guys that are pretty lean, it doesn't matter. You don't have much tissue other than skin right on top of that radius here, and that might not feel very good. Right here, hitting that might not feel very good. So once again, be careful. One thing, if you're a kettlebell person and you're used to doing kettlebell swings between the legs, well, check where this weight's gonna go. It's between the legs. Here's the weight. Here's my hand right by my hips. Here's the center mass bell. I've just slammed myself in the junk. Alright, because the handle is right here versus right here. So right, as you can tell, this is my alignment. So when I stand up normal, I'm going to hit myself. So if you're doing kettlebell long cycle and stuff like that, where it's double clean and jerk, clean and press, you're going to have to flex at your hips a lot farther. You're going to have to do a lot more bending at the knees, a lot more squat-like, which is fine. I think these things are great for like dead snatches, dead cleans and stuff with like you would with dumbbells anyway, because they're not going to take up as much width. A definite con when it comes to me, if people are asking if these are a replacement for kettlebells. When it comes to that, the repetitious stuff that kettlebells are meant for isn't going to happen as easy with this due to the placement of the handle on the inside.